Hi, I'm Steve Miner, part of the engineering group at Derrick's, and today we're going to spend a couple of minutes talking about how drill bits cut. Let's point out three main features of a drill bit. The flutes, which do not cut, they simply carry waste out of the hole, and the chisel point and cutting edges, which do the actual work. To understand drill bits, we're going to start first with the simplest of metal cutting tools, a cutter for a lathe. Now, if we look at a lathe tool in detail, as the cutting edge enters a workpiece, metal is compressed along the line of the shear plane, which is approximately perpendicular to the rake face of the tool. Now when the forces along the shear plane exceed the forces holding the metal together, the metal shears, and the part that breaks off, the chip, rides up along the rake face. Now also as the tool goes through here, we need to have a little bit of clearance or relief so that the tool doesn't rub along the workpiece as it goes through. So let's look at the drill bit briefly. The top of the drill bit is formed into a cone, and the intersection of the helix of the bit and that cone form a couple of cutting edges called cutting lips. Now when you ground a couple of cutting lips into the bit, you're left over with this little piece of metal that connects the two edges together. That's called a chisel, and it's really important with how the drill bit works. If we go back to our lathe tool, you can see that the cutting lip and the lathe tool are really pretty identical, only the rake face of the drill bit is formed by the helix of the bit. So if we ignore the chisel and just think about the cutting lip, the diagram of this looks pretty much like the lathe tool. So we still have our rake face, the shear plane where the forces create that chip that cuts the metal off, but this is the interesting part, the relief. So for the drill bit to feed and not rub, if you take a look at this, it looks like the cone goes straight across, but actually that's a bit of an optical illusion. Behind the cutting lip, this cone surface, if it's ground properly, actually drops off, and that drop-off is what forms the relief that allows the drill bit to feed through the material without rubbing. So those are the basics of how a drill bit works. In future videos we'll go into more detail about ways of minimizing the chisel and therefore the force needed to drive a drill bit through a piece of material, and also improve the centering of the bit. Thank you.